journey started. It's your girl, Pearl. What's up, lit fam? I wanted to share more about this. I've been getting a lot of questions from a lot of y'all peeps, which I'm loving. Also, shout out to everyone that's been chatting with me in the DMs. It's been such a fun time. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here for a while, thank you for the support. I have been talking to a lot of amazing people in the DMs, and I get this question over and over again. They're like, how do you start a sobriety journey? Why are you sober? What happened? And I just want to share in one place and have this available for people that want to listen to it. So if you're here live, amazing, hello. If you're listening to the replay somewhere on my page, tune in, take me on your walk, take me with you if you're listening to replay. But I just want to share more about how I started my journey, why I started my journey, what it's been like for me. And everyone's journey is unique and different. So I just want to honor that and just share mine. So initially, I never actually wanted to be sober. This is the interesting thing. Like, I never woke up. I didn't wake up one day and was like, I need to be sober. What came up for me was actually, I was really having a hard time with my emotions. I was struggling with anxiety, feeling depressed, really like waking up hating my life every day. Backstory a little bit. My little sister took her own life when she was 16, and that threw me into my deepest and darkest depression, moving through grief and sadness and all these feelings that I never really knew how to process or understood how to move through in a healthy way. And so being someone who was conditioned at a young age to not feel, to suppress my feelings, to pretend I'm okay, the narrative in the household was you don't share about your feelings, you don't complain, you don't cry, you're strong and you stay strong, like there's nothing to be sad about, you're grateful, etc., etc. That was a really big part of something I had to unlearn and uncondition. And so going through my sister's grief experience, like losing her, and going through my own deep dark, just like death of the, dark night of the soul almost. It wasn't until almost a year until after her death, 'cause I didn't process things really truly for a year. And I was doing everything I could in my power to avoid my feelings. Like, people ask me, people are like, hey, were you addicted to anything? Like, did you have any substance use issues? And I didn't, but I would say I was addicted to escaping. And we're all addicted to something. And I don't necessarily believe that addictions are bad, actually, because right now I'm addicted to a lot of things, but a lot of healthy things that support my well-being, because that's actually the human brain chases pleasure, and that's how we're wired. So there's nothing wrong with that, because we're wired to chase pleasure and avoid pain. We can't rewire like our hardwire. Of course we can rewire a lot of other things, but that's how we're like psychologically, physiologically wired, is to chase pleasure and run away from pain. And so being someone that didn't know at the time when I was younger how to deal with my emotions, I would do anything to run away from the pain. So I was addicted to escape my emotions. I would do whatever I need to escape my emotions. So that looked like me working 2 jobs, working like 40 hours a week, not sleeping, partying my ass off. Like, there was a period of time in my life, it was insane. I would work literally 16-hour days, and I'd go out and party after. Like, I just didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be at home. I didn't want to be with my thoughts. Didn't want to be with my feelings. I didn't want 1 second of anything that I could feel how I actually felt on the inside. I'm not sure if anyone can relate. So went through that whole freaking experience, and then one day I really just took a moment, and I had a really bad panic attack one day. Hi, Atlas. And this is what I would say was my awakening moment. Like, I had this panic attack where I literally thought I was gonna die. Like, I'm not kidding you. I was like, this is how I die? I'm like, I'm 25 and I'm like, I can't breathe. I'm on the floor, like hyperventilating, like I literally cannot breathe. And I was like, oh my god, this is how I die. And I got triggered by this, something that shouldn't have triggered me, but at the time I was in such a vulnerable experience in my life, and at such a place where I was just like falling apart. I was just so sad, so depressed, so angry, just so lost. And this thing triggered me, and it sent me into this deep negative spiral where I like thought the world was ending, and I thought everyone hated me, and like my life was the worst. And so I had this panic attack. And I remember being in this same studio I'm in right now. I've been here for a long time, and like on the floor, like crying. And I had this out-of-body experience. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever experienced an out-of-body experience, but I have. And I was sober, so I was just like in this state, and I had an out-of-body experience. I remember my soul leaving my body, me looking down at my body on the floor, having this fit, like literally, like it was insane. My neighbors probably thought I was like dying or something. Like I was being so loud, like wailing, crying, all the things. And I looked down on myself. Like this is my soul looking down on my human body on the floor. And I was like, wow, like it was such a weird thing to experience. Then I hear this voice that's like, and this is what I believe was my higher self or my guides or whatever you believe in. And the voice was like, hey, like, this is not what you're meant to be. This is not who you're meant to be. There's so much more here for you. Basically, like, get your shit together. Like, get your shit together. My guides are a little bit harsher, which we love, but they're like, get your shit together. And I was like, so after that happened, I came back into my body, and I kind of like woke up. Like, I woke up from this like trance, hyperventilating, panic attack state I was in. And it was like a flip switch. And I'm not sure if any of you have had a moment like this in your life, I want you to message me and let me know. Because I feel like I've never met anyone that's had an out-of-body experience yet. I've heard about it, but like never met anyone in real life has had one. So, I wake up, a flip has switched, and I literally stop crying, stop hyperventilating, my panic attack is done. And I like wipe my tears, and I go look in my mirror. And this is the start of my mirror work journey, which is a whole other topic. Mirror work literally changed my life. I go to my mirror and I look at myself in the eyes and I'm like, at the mirror like this. I'm like, Pearl, you're going to figure out your shits. You're going to get your shit together. Okay? So that moment, that same night after I stopped crying, I went to the gym because I was like, you know what? You need to feel better. You need to figure out what makes you feel good. I'm like, I'm going to go to the gym. So I'm at the gym, literally face puffy, eyes red. I don't give a fuck. I'm working out. I'm at the gym. Like, move your body, feel good. This is at a time I went to the gym a lot. I still go to the gym a lot, but not as much as I used to. And so, that was the start of my journey. And it was always revolving around, okay, how can I feel good? My North Star was, how can I feel good? It was never about being sober. It just happens that I feel my best when I'm sober, right? But my sober journey started from this place of being at a such low place mentally. I just wanted to feel good. And so that was my whole experience. So from that day on, that day was, I don't even know when that was. That was 2021 when I had 2020. 2021. Anyway, one of those years. And I was like, okay, let me figure out how to feel good. So I started to research and look into, because one of my biggest pain points in my life was my anxiety. I fucking hated having it. It like ruined my life. I always felt like shit. I was like really anxious and really sad all the time. And I hated my, like I wake up every morning dreading my life. Like just, I would be like, man, this sucks. My life sucks. I hate my life. Life is the worst. Like I was such a negative Nancy. Like people, they didn't post on social media when I was in this state, obviously. People have not seen like how negative and like sad and depressed and angry I was. I had all these repressed emotions from my sister's death and all other things I've experienced in my life. I had a very hard, traumatic childhood that I never processed. And so I just had all these emotions. I was just so angry all the time. I hated life because life was so unfair and so many bad things happened to me. And you know, that narrative was really, really rampant in my brain. So looking up, I was like, okay, I need to figure out how to figure out this shit up in here. Because like, I was not happy. My mental state was not good. And I was like, this is not a good place to be. And that's why I always wanted to escape. Because I didn't want to be in my body. I didn't want to be with my feelings. I didn't want to feel and hear my thoughts and feel my feelings. I just didn't want to experience that. So I'd always escape. I had to learn how to figure it out because that panic attack woke me the fuck up. And I was like, yo, I need to figure my shit out. So, Googled. And Google's been a big part of my journey. Like a lot of my pivotal moments in my life start with Google. So if you're ever lost or like want to figure something out, like literally Google it. So I Googled. I'm like, okay, why do I have anxiety? What's the cause of anxiety? How can I fix this? Why am I depressed? Why do I feel so low? And I actually learned, like, this was a big part of, after my sister passed, I also did research around, like, why do people kill themselves? Like, what the heck's that, you know? Like, what makes someone do that? Like, we'll get to that point, right? And that was a whole experience too, and I started to look at, and I was in my studies at this point, I believe, or I just graduated university, and I studied nutrition, health, and dietetics. But a lot of things don't get taught to us. I focused a lot in my studies in university around, like, biology, chemistry, physiology, the nutrition, gut health, like all the organs and how they operate and how the body operates in that lens. But never from like a mindset, like psychosomatics, physiological, emotional standpoint. I didn't really learn any of that. So this is all so new to me. And I was like learning a ton. I was like, oh wow, like this is what's linked to anxiety and this and that and this and that. And I was like, okay, one of the first things that really took my eye was sleep. Because I had really shit sleep. I was a horrible sleeper. And sleep is actually directly linked to anxiety. When you have poor sleep quality, when you don't get your deep REM sleep, it actually affects your state and your nervous system. And when you're dysregulated because you have lack of sleep, you're more likely to be anxious and more likely to be triggered and more likely to have less control of your emotions. So I learned that and I was like, well, shit. Sleep was one of the biggest pain points as well. So I'm like, let me look at this sleep thing, okay? Let me look at this sleep thing. Let me try and fix my sleep. So I went through the whole experience. It took me a long time, but I actually rewired my sleep. And I talk about this a lot in my content, in my past content, and I actually have trainings on this in my free community. So if you're someone that wants to elevate your sleep, you want to figure out how to sleep better, I have a free community that I just launched. I'm so excited, and I have trainings in there around sleep, how I rewired my sleep, and how I now sleep like a fucking baby. Like literally, my sleep is so incredibly good, no matter where I am, even at festivals. And this, I won't go on another tangent, but that's something I learned about how the body works, and it's probably one of the pillars of all my teachings and my coaching. And what I help people do is like understand like actually how the body works and how the neuroscience, how the brain works, how we rewire patterns, how we break patterns, associations, like things that happen in the body. Because now I can sleep like a baby anywhere because I've created this repetition, this really strong neural framework and network around my sleep and my habits, and how my body now understands different states and how to get into those states just through me doing a few things. And that's a whole nother topic. But so I started with sleep and I fixed my sleep and I was, what's next? Okay, and I realized, because my North Star was feeling good, so I realized, okay, well, what doesn't make me feel good? And I started to look at my life, my job, some friends, drinking, doing substances, and I started to list off the things that don't make me feel good. And I was like, oh, interesting. So let me start working on all these things. Now, one key distinction here I want to make, and I think this is what makes my journey so different, because my mindset going into it was never, I need to be sober. I can't do anything of these things. Now, of course, people have their own experience, but my mindset was, I just want to feel good. And I think that makes, like for me, it made it much easier because my North Star wasn't that I had to take away or lack something, or because I talked to a lot of people who are on their sober journey or have been on their sober journey, and it's really much about removal around, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that anymore, I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Restrictive almost, and almost like feels really, anyway, the word isn't coming, but it doesn't feel great because you feel like you have to remove all these things that you love out of your life. You have to remove this and remove that, and you can't go that, and you can't go partying, and this is hard, no, you can't, like, and that's never the experience I had, because my North Star was, I just want to feel good. So it's like, how can I still feel good doing all the things I love, right? How can I feel good going out, going to festivals, going to raves, doing the things, right? And feeling good for me was a daily thing. I wanted to feel good every single day as much as possible, and that evolved and grew and grew and grew over life. Very limiting. There you go. Thanks, Alyssa. So, and that's when I started to notice, well, okay, I would go out and drink, as we do, I was younger, and that's what we're conditioned to do. And I'd wake up in the morning, I was like, you know what? I didn't feel great. And because my North Star is I want to feel good, I'm like, let me actually just stop drinking. Let me just stop drinking. Does that mean I never drink ever again? No. I do share openly about this. I'm 95% sober, which means 95% of the time I am completely sober. I don't do caffeine. I don't do nothing. I don't drink, nothing. And then 5% of the time I explore, I experiment. I see I might have a glass of wine with my dad. I might microdose a little bit of shrooms at a festival, and that's like my 5%. And I believe everyone gets to have their own definition of what that means to them. If you decide to be 100% forever and ever, that's amazing. I know people who are like, I was 100% sober and I decided to open myself up to doing plant medicines. Amazing. Like, it's your journey. Get to whatever you want. And again, whatever makes you feel your best. And figuring out what makes you feel your best is a journey. It's an exploration. It's a trial and error. You do something like, oh, I didn't love that. And you pivot. You learn, oh, okay, that wasn't great. Or wow, that actually made me feel really good. So I'm going to keep doing more of that, right? It's exploration. So I realized what made me feel like shit and what made me feel good. So I just focused on more of the things that made me feel good. And over the years, more and more and more, I realized, drinking really doesn't make me feel good. Now I'm at a point where I might have like 2 glasses of wine a year, you know? And even when I do have a glass of wine, I'm like, I don't know if I need that, you know? And now I'm at a place where I don't really need any substance to have fun. And I'm really honoring more of the really intimate, intentional, like healing spaces. If I do plant medicines, or if I choose to, microdose at festival, it'll be like on the last day. If I choose to, I don't always choose to though, right? And again, that's like my experience with it. But my journey in sobriety has always been, for me, I want to feel my best, my absolute best all the time. And that also ties into my habits, right? That's why I'm so locked in with my movement, with my eating, with eating more plants and doing more dance, with my morning and evening routines, with my sleep, with my hormones, with everything I've built, because I really want to feel good. And this is what I want you to take away from this. If you're listening, if you're here, if you're in your journey, wherever that looks like for you, just ask yourself, okay, what makes me feel really great in my life? And what doesn't make me feel good? And tune into your body. Certain foods you'll eat, you'll notice. Certain people you're around, you'll notice. Certain things you consume on social media, you'll notice. Like all these little things. And where I've gotten to a point in my life where there's so many things that I don't do because they don't make me feel good. That's not necessarily the norm of society, and that's okay. I think being like, society's norms are fucked, honestly. Like, and I've created my own norms. Like, what do I want normal to be? And you get to create your own norms as well. Like for me, I want normal to be that I have endless amounts of energy all day long without needing anything outside of me. I don't need coffee. I don't need shit. Because I've learned how to, I was like talking to a friend about this yesterday. My friend's really having a hard time. She's trying to cut out coffee, but she literally is, her body's so dependent on it. It's how can we create habits and a lifestyle and routines and rituals that support your body to create natural energy, to create like at the mitochondria level, like the cellular level. How can we create that? That's a big part of what I do. Like I help people with this. So if you want help with that, message me. But it's like, how can we get our bodies so optimized where you're eating in a way that makes you feel good, where you're creating natural energy? Like we have so much natural energy that we can create as human beings that we just don't tap into. And that's a big part of like my whole mission here is, yes, being sober, yes, going out and staying out all night, but it's actually about how good can you feel every single day in your body. And there's so many layers to that, right? So the more and more that I learned what works for me, and it's unique to everyone, what works for me around feeling good, around having endless potential energy in my body, around being able to manage my emotions and work with my triggers and repattern my old habits that were detrimental to me, and all the things that I've worked on, I'm like, holy shit, I feel lit. I feel lit every single day. And so I don't necessarily now need any of the external things. Now, do I still tend to do some a little bit here and there? Of course, I'm a human. I like to have fun. I love the festival. I love the party. I love the fucking party, okay? And that's why I'm still in this. That's why I go to all these festivals and I love having fun. I love dancing. I love liberating myself. But it's no longer that I can't access these states sober. I can. And it's really opening yourself up to, okay, what is possible for me in my sober state? What is possible for me to feel? What is possible for me to open up to, right? And so there's so much more potential here for us. And because I've not only experienced it for myself, but for my clients I've worked with, it's like so cool once you unlock more of your energy, more of your potential, and more of the things that are available for you. So hopefully that answered some questions. If you have any more questions, you can drop them below if you're live, or if you want me to talk more about any of the topics I covered, DM me and I'm happy to share more content around this, because this is a big part of my mission. I'm realizing is helping people really just like tap into their endless potential in their body, in their energy, in their mindset, in their understanding their emotions, and being like thriving sober. Like, man, there's so much cool stuff available for us when you're really able to tap in to what it looks like for you to feel so good, to be so lit, to have so much energy, to think in a way that supports you, to have a body and a brain that's working in cohesion with each other, right? And like, wow, life has changed. Like my life has opened up so much since I've learned about this, but it's been a journey. Don't get me wrong, it's been a fucking journey. It's been hard sometimes. Like it's been up and down. Sometimes I'm like it's crazy, but it's worth it. You know, I really believe how I feel right now today. Like 5 years ago, me, the version of me that was on the floor having panic attacks. Yes, we are magical, powerful. Is your name Marias? Am I saying that right? But thank you, that comment. We're so freaking powerful, and we can be full of life when we decide to take the actions, when we decide to change our habits, we decide to become the version of us that is full of life and powerful and has energy and does the things that we know are good for us. And of course, it's a whole journey, but the version of me that was sad, depressed, anxious, having panic attacks, hating my life, hating myself, like just didn't love anything. Mariah, okay. I'll talk to you soon. But yeah, I wouldn't believe I'd feel this good. And this is where just take the first step. Like, you don't know what's available for you on the other side. I'm so excited for community too. Have you introduced yourself? Go introduce yourself. And if you're watching this and you're not in our free community yet, get your booty in there. It's going to be a vibe. I have so many cool things planned. We have our first community call on Tuesday. Okay, I'm butchering your name. I'm so sorry. Well, I'll talk to you. Message me about it. But yeah, it's just like, there's so much potential. Take the first step. Just like how most people's journeys, you never know where it's gonna go. If you told me I'd be doing this shit when I was on the floor hating my life, I would have laughed. Like, I would have freaking laughed at you, because there's no way I would have been like, oh yeah, now I'm talking about sobriety and like how I feel so lit. Like, nah, I'd be like, I'm fucking depressed, I hate my life, and like there's no point in life. That's what I told you back in the day. So that's what I truly believed. But I had to change my belief systems and change the version of me. I just didn't like that version of me, and I had to do the inner work and to really sit with myself and go through some hard shit and really get real, like some real raw truth. I sat with myself and looked myself in the mirror, okay? And the mirror work here will change your life. But yeah, that's been my journey. So thank you for listening. If you're still here, if you have any questions, let me know. And if you're on your own sober journey, if you're on your own health journey, whatever journey you're on, I just want you to focus on not on the limiting aspects of it, because what you focus on expands, right? I want you to focus on, how can I feel good? Because that was my focus, and that's literally opened so many things up for me. How can I feel good? What potential do I have here? How can I expand? Okay, wow, that felt good. What else? What else is there here for me? What else is there for me, right? And when you start asking that question, things will really shift for you. And if you want support with this, if you want to work with me one-on-one, if you want to work on your habits, your health, your emotional regulation, your nervous system, any of that stuff, if that feels called to you right now in this chapter of your life, I love the chat. Otherwise, get your booty into my free community, go introduce yourself, and I am so happy that you're here in this space. Thank you for being here. Send you so much love, okay? And I'll talk to you so soon. Bye.